What's going on, you guys? Very quick, just some tips to give you. I'm a huge fan of Santana, love him, and here's just a few of my tips to get a little more of his sound. So my number one tip is being conscious of the chord progression and what you're playing over what chords. So, for instance, if he's playing an A minor, like I just was here, so like a D7, right? So that's really like a 2-5 in G. So he's treating that like a 2-5 in G, meaning he's playing the A Dorian mode. So instead of this F that you'd play in the A minor, right? You move it up to an F sharp. And which makes sense, because if you think about the 2 chord, that D7, you have that's the third of that chord, right? So you can't play the minor third, you gotta play that major third, right? So that makes total sense. Now the trick is knowing where that note is all over the fretboard. Everyone knows it here in your cowboy position. There it is again there. There it is again. So you got to know it all over the fretboard, right? So in this case, it's your F sharp. And you got to understand that that's great to know it here. But when you're jamming here, you got to know it here too. Right? You can't just know it here. You can't just know it there. So I'm not trying to like preach, but just work on learning when there's something like that, when there's a nuance like that, where it's just like a one note nuance that can make so much of a difference in the way you sound. You want to make sure that you don't know it in just one place. It's really important, because then you're just going to get stuck really fast. And I just don't want you to feel like bored or stuck, right? So, yeah, that's the reason why I'm just bringing that to your attention. Hopefully that just gives you something to work on a little bit. The next tip to getting that Santana sound is his rhythmic approach in his lead playing, right? So, he's not just a guy who's going to play your typical going through a scale. He's going to do weird, he's going to do all these like kind of weird rhythmic variations. Just toy with it. I'm not even trying to do anything specific here. I'm just kind of giving you the idea to jumpstart your brain, right? And the concept that kind of unlocks doors. And I'm not even using a backing track. If I was, I could give you some really cool examples of this. And he uses these little, like, also to kind of tie that into that is like he also, when he's doing cool rhythm, then like throwing slides and slurs and little accents, and he's just so articulate in his playing that you just kind of want to emulate that vibe. So use as many of those little tricks as you can, and it will certainly get you closer to just that feel. We're not trying to copy him. We're just trying to extract some motivation and some influence, from him, because he's such a bad man, right? But we're not trying to copy it per se. We're just trying to get in his headspace a little bit, right? So those are really my 3 biggest tips, in getting that sound, in not trying to sound like Carlos, but just trying to take a little bit of his influence into your playing. And hopefully that helps. There's a lot more, and I'm going to take a deeper dive into the Carlos vibe here. But just to kind of get you started, those are a few of the things that I use just right off the bat to get into that territory. So cool. Hope you enjoyed that. Like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you on the flip, and keep on picking. Love y'all. Peace.